Greetings, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Be My Servant. That's right, we actually have a guest. Today, we have Infinite with us. Of course, we're gonna have some fun with this, aren't we? Oh, yes. I cannot wait. Alright, let's get into it. That is by G the Dark Angel. And make sure you guys subscribe, notify, and all that good stuff. Yes, make sure you do that for Gia as well. Oh, let's go. You open your eyes again. Oh, wait, I missed one line. Oh, there, Harry, you miss a line. Wakes up. What happened? You open your eyes again. Unfortunately, you are now unable to speak due to the gag. You are also chained up, which limits your movement. You are unable to move your hands, and it's quite clear that you are now completely incapable of defending yourself in this situation. Ooh, let's see. You start moving around, and then you realize that you have been surrounded by corpses dressed in former clothing. Their eyes are all glowing blue, and their gazes are all now fixed onto you. You start to feel nervous. What are they doing? Do you get scared? Her mind, she says, oh no. Interesting. Suddenly, suddenly, you are approached by another corpse. This is one is dressed in a different style from the others, as it has long cape, red crown, red mask. And the red mask, he has glowing red eyes and begins looking down on you. The masked corpse says, so you are the one who was unfortunate enough to get lost in this domain. You are now a permanent addition to this collection. Oh, it's getting nuts. The masked corpse says, your screams will add to our collection. It will fill me with great pleasure. The corpse then draws out a dagger and starts to approach you. The masked corpse says, the more you scream, the more your pain will fuel our life force. It is only a matter of time until you join us for eternity. The corpse then raises the dagger and prepares to kill you. For the Phantom Ruby and for Master, you will die. Gia starts staring up. The corpse gets closer and closer to you. You can feel the cold steel of its blade getting closer to your neck. This beat is smacking. It's really good. You can now smell the corpse's breath. It smells rotten, like a rotting corpse smell, as it is filled with death and decay. The corpse now places the knife against her neck. You are now less than a second from being cut from a steel razor sharp dagger. Oh, this is getting nuts. Wings comes out and shoots knives. You manage to use your wings too. You manage to reuse your rings to stab the corpse, sending him tumbling back. The corpses surrounding you all give off a deafening, unearthly scream as the corpse backs away, looks at his knife, which is now soaked in blood. He then starts laughing mechanically. As you're now surrounded by the sound of mechanical laughter, what will you do? Dia screams, "Help me!" But Infinite the Jackal AI says, "No one comes to help you. Instead, you are laughed at by the laughing corpses." They are all smiling, but not in a happy way. In a sadistic, mocking way that sends shivers down your spine. The corpse with the knife starts advancing towards you again. What will Gia do? In my opinion, she will give up and die. That's what you think. I'm thinking he's gonna do something cool. She gives in as a tear up in tears. I told you so. The corpse raises his knife high above his head, and you can hear the corpse laughing mechanically as he sees your reaction. It is a sadistic and cruel laugh. But before he can execute you, a blood-curdling and horrifying scream erupts from behind you. All the corpses suddenly stop laughing and turn towards it in fear. What caused them to stop laughing? You turn your head and face across the stream. Your eyes have never felt such terror. What do you see? Gia's surprised. Gia's that have no idea. Carl's away, backing up in terror. Ooh, this is getting tasty. You have escaped the grasp of the corpses, but now face a much more terrifying monster. The monster stares at you with a menacing grin and begins to approach. After a few steps, it leans down and begins sniffing you, as if it was expecting you or seeing that you were made of. Ooh, I smell lunch. You with your lunch stuff. I can smell your fear. Panting as saliva runs down through the gag, as I am shaking in fear. Lunch is here. The creature then slowly circling you. It then roars loudly, a horrifying sound that sends shivers down your spine. The corpses in the room all freeze in place, unable to even think about moving. They are now so terrified by the monster that the thought of death does not scare them. They are left in an imaginable state of total fear. What will you do? Gia says, stay still as I'm trying to be calm. The monster having circled around you and seems that you don't pose a threat, lets out a roaring, monstrous laugh at your reaction. The corpses in the room hear the laugh and shudder at the sound. Before all of them turn into dust, now the only two beings in the room were you and that monster. It then approaches. You can smell the creature's rancid breath, rotting flesh, and blood from its many victims. The creature is now right in front of you. What will Gia do? Flinches in mine. Someone save me, please save me. There was no one else inside, but now you're faced with the creature in front of you. It then looks down on you and roars loudly, right in your face, causing you to fall. You are left coughing on the floor. The monster is now above you. What will you do? Gia tears up in fear. The monster, now standing above you, then turns to the side and spits blood onto you. As your face is now covered in the monster's blood, you can see that the creature has an unusually large mouth with sharp teeth, a mouth which it could easily gobble you into without chewing. The creature has the ability to eat you whole if it is so desired. It has the ability to devour you with this one bite. You are now face to face with it, the enormous rolling creature with blood-stained teeth. What will you do? What would you do? Gia says, backs away in fear and falls to a cracked floor. You see the eyes of the monster in front of you and its gaping maw above you. You then fall through a crack in the floor, falling through what seems like a dark, bottomless pit. You fall for a long time, feeling all alone, so you suddenly feel a wave of panic rush over you. However, just as you feel this, you hit the ground on your back. You are now, you are now, you suddenly feel a wave of panic over you. However, just as you feel this, you hit the ground on your back. You are now back in the same dark room with the monster staring down at you. It is now looming over you, right above you. Oh no. Gia, come here. Stands up and runs as if finds under the door and opens it. You run away. As hard as you run, you can hear the sounds of the creature's footsteps following closely right behind you. You look for a door and see a lone red-colored door. What will you do? Gia goes through the door. You run up to the door and open it and enter as you find yourself in a new room. It looks somewhat like a cave, with crystal cave spikes growing from the cavern wall. The color of the room is dark, dim, and red. You can now hear the echoing footsteps of the monster behind you. How can you escape? How can you get away from this thing? Finds its sharpest creature crystal, and that is the size of a sword, and takes it with me. You find a sharp crystal and take it with you. This may be useful for you, as it looks like the monster is now right behind you, about to strike your back with full force. What will you do? Gia keeps running. You keep running and keep hearing the footsteps of the monster. You run for a while, when suddenly the monster rears up and charges at you. You can now see its face, its fangs. It jumps at you. Will you now only have one chance to live? What will you do? Gia, you're in trouble, girl. You better run, run. Gia says, jumps it and stabs its eye and runs and off and doesn't look back. You jump and stab the creature in the eye. It roars in pain and falls over, allowing you to run away. You look back and see the monster is lying on the ground in horrible pain, clutching its eye. You now have the chance to escape, and as the monster can't give chase. Do you leave the monster behind or do you finish it off? If I were you, Gia, I would run. Tears up and walks to it as I stabbed its other eye. As I stab its head that dies, you stab the monster and it is no longer alive. You have killed a massive, horrifying monster that had been chasing you this whole time. You are left alone, for now at least. What will Gia do? The thief's running away and looks for an exit. After running for a long time, for the first time you can see an exit out into the outside world. You can see the light outside growing more and more bright. Do you leave and return to the outside world? If so, you can finally escape from your tormentor. And Gia runs to the exit and jumps out as they jump out from the dark place. You exit the dark place and manage to leave the underground, finding yourself back outside again. Though you were underground, it seemed like no time had passed. This is good. You have managed to escape from your horrible monster. But are you truly safe? Flies off to a different ground, according to Gia. You managed to escape the nightmare, or did you? Are you really safe? Who knows? Perhaps this will end your suffering, or perhaps your torment has only just begun, and your pain is only getting started. Lands on land and notice Infinite was there. Not again. Wait. Lands on land I notice. Infinite was there. Not again. As I fainted as he comes towards me. Infinite sees you and walks towards you. As you pass out before him, he smiles and says to himself, "The game begins once more. Your pain has only just begun." And that will do it for this episode of Be My Servant. What happens next? Is there going to be more fights for Gia and Infinite? Are we about to see a new battle form? Find out next time on Be My Servant as part of Francis the Hedgehog Reacts. We would like to say thank you to Infinite, also voiced. This happens to be voiced by me today. Hey, I enjoyed it, so I cannot wait for the next one either. That was pretty neat. I cannot wait. We'll see you on the next Francis the Hedgehog Reacts. As always, live life to the fullest and enjoy.